Welcome to Leader Upgrade today. Every Tuesday from 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. we talk about leadership. And when you hear leadership, the first thing that comes to your mind is position. But can I shock you? Position is the lowest level of leadership. There are 5 levels of leadership when we talk about leadership. But don't forget, this is powered by Gateway International Church here on Life Center Network. Every Tuesday, Leader Upgrade. I don't want you to downgrade your dream, rather upgrade who you are, and then your dream will meet you where you are. So this afternoon, I'm talking about value delivery recipe. Value delivery recipe. How industry titans deliver outstanding results. Value delivery recipe. How industry titans deliver outstanding results. I was talking about leadership, and I said that there are 5 levels of leadership based on the school of thought of John Maxwell. Number 1 is position. People follow you because they have to. It is based on your right. If you look at somebody, now let me use church business as for example. Look at somebody in church, so you are the chief usher of this church. Whether the ushers in that church loves his face or not, they will report to him. That is what called position. People follow you because they have to. It is based on your right. Now, but if you use position well, you move to the next level of leadership, what we call permission. People follow you because they want to. It is based on relationship. Now, you've used your position and your right as a leader now to build relationship with people. So they have not said, we permit you to lead us. That's the second level of leadership. Whereas in the school of thought, they still said that this leadership school of thought, even at the second level, you are not a leader yet. And now, if you use permission, people follow because they want to. It is based on relationship. That takes us to the third level of leadership, which is called production. People follow you because of what you have done for the organization. It is based on results. All of them PR. Position, right, permission, relationship, production, result. Now, this person now came, first of all, positional leadership. Don't forget that being given a leadership position does not make you a leader. Rather, you have been invited to the table of leadership. Let me say that again because it resonates with me. Being given a leadership position does not make you a leader, so to speak. Rather, you have been invited to the table of leadership. So, position invites you to the table of leadership. If you use your right well and build relationship, it brings you to the next level of leadership, which is permission. But then, in the school of leadership, they said, you are not a leader yet. Now that brings you to the third level of leadership, which is production. People follow you because of what you have done for the organization. When this guy became the chief usher, he did this for the church. He did this for the church. The church moved from social level to another level. That is production. And that is based on your result. Now people are following you because you have results. But that brings us to the real level of leadership, which is called the 4th level, which is people development. People follow you because of what you have done for them, and it is based on reproduction. You have been able to reproduce yourself in the lives of others. I'm sitting down here not because I'm a leadership guru, but I'm a work in progress. Why? Someone called Pastor George Zuma, the lead pastor of Gateway International Church, looked at some persons and began to pour himself into them. He started by doing some things. He would do something, you will watch him. After a while, he will do something again, you will watch, people will talk. The next one, they call it principle 222. You, I do, you watch, and we talk. Next time, I do, you help, and we talk. The next time, I ask you to do why I watch, and we talk. The next time again, I will leave the scene. You now take another person. You do, the person watches you, and then you talk. Next time, you do again, you ask him to help, and you talk. The next time you ask him to start, you help, and you talk. And afterwards, that same person walks away. That person takes another person. It's called principle 222. Why is it called principle 222? It was taken from the Holy Bible. 2 Timothy chapter 2 verse 2. That which you have learned from me, commit thou to faithful men who will be able to teach others also. And my lead pastor said, you don't look for able men, you look for faithful men. Because more often than not, able men are not faithful men. Able men become rebellious. But faithful men grow to become able men. Timothy, or rather, Paul was the first generation of mentors. He said, that which I have learned from me, first generation. Who learned from him? Timothy. He said, Timothy, what you have learned from me, commit it to what? To faithful men, not to able men. If you go to so many churches, They promote able men, talented men. That's why we have ordained so many Absaloms in churches. So many Absaloms occupying positions. They don't know one day they'll rebel. Because talented people will feel that talent is enough and they throw away character. They throw away discipline. They want you to celebrate their talent without looking at their character flaws. It won't happen. So this afternoon I said, okay, the last level of leadership is what? It's called pinnacle. People follow you because of who you are and what you represent. It is based on respect. So the first one is position, based on your right. Second one is permission, based on your relationship. Third one is production, based on your result. Fourth one is people development, based on reproduction. And the fifth one is pinnacle, based on respect. People respect you because of who you are and what you have achieved. So let's dive into, like my father would say, let me unpack some things for you. So we'll read one Bible passage and then we'll flow from there. Of course, there's no how we're talking about leadership without referring to the Holy Bible. Now, in Genesis chapter 41, 37 to 44 from the Good News Translation. Genesis chapter number 41, 37 up until, okay, I skipped some verses. I'll do 38, I'll do 40, and I'll run to 42 to 44. Good News Translation. And he said to them, we will never find a better man than Joseph, a man who has God's spirit in him. The king said to Joseph, God has shown you all this, so it is obvious that you have greater wisdom and insight than anyone else. I'll put you in charge of my country, and all my people will obey your orders. Your authority will be second only to mine. The king removed from his finger the ring engraved with the royal seal and put it on Joseph's finger. He put a fine linen robe on him and placed a gold chain around his neck. He gave him the second royal chariot to ride in, and his guard of honor went ahead of him and cried out, make way, make way. And so Joseph was appointed governor over all Egypt. The king said to him, I am the king, and no one in all Egypt shall so much as lift a hand or a foot without your permission. Wow. This guy arrived a foreign nation. So apparently he had no local standing, like they say in the court of law. You lack local standing, or it lacks jurisdiction to contest for election because it was not from there. But listen to me. Can I say something to you? Even though I'm not teaching about money today, can I tell you something? There are 10 areas where money hides. One of the places money hides in problems. Crisis bets opportunity. Wherever there are crises, there are opportunities to be explored. This nation Nigeria, maybe you're watching me from outside this country, but this nation Nigeria is passing through some hard times. But this is where people make much money. Why? Because crisis offers opportunities. So this guy came and, of course, before he could interpret the dream of the king, he had interpreted the dream of the chief butler and the chief baker in the prison. And they were his connection to the palace. You see, I was sharing a business meeting somewhere. I was asking them, between the dream of Pharaoh and the dream of the chief butler, which one was more valuable? Which one is more important? And some businessmen were thinking that it was the dream of Pharaoh. No, it was actually the dream of the chief butler, because it was the divine connection between Joseph and the palace. So if Joseph had not offered value in prison, there was no way his name would pop up in the palace when there was an issue. So divine connection is one of the things we'll talk about. But let's just dive into what we're talking about today, the recipe for value delivery. So this guy was called upon because the chief butler said, well, I remember my fault, how I committed an offense and I was thrown into prison. I met a young guy, he's a Hebrew boy. But this guy has an answer to what you're asking. He said, fetch him. They brought him. The Bible said, Joseph, what did he do? Number one, he removed his prison garment, and number two, he shaved his raiment. He shaved his hair. Why? There is a way you dress when you are going to the palace. You don't look like a peasant going to the palace. Nobody will listen to you, even though you have value to carry. Are we still together? So this guy, in case you have any questions to ask or you feel like calling, you can call 0702 5000950. If you feel like calling, 0702 5000950. Or else, you can just make your comments, ask your questions. This comes every Tuesday, 2 p.m. up until 3 p.m. every Tuesday on Life Center Network. It's on your Facebook, it's on Instagram, it's also on Impact Mentoring and Ministers Outreach. So let's flow on YouTube also. Anywhere you are, you can get upgraded by listening to this podcast. Why? Because I'm following an upgraded leader. There's no how I can be anything short of that. I thought you would just smile where you are. So let's get back to our story. I'm just giving you the storyline. And then Joseph comes in to the palace. And Pharaoh began to tell his dream. All the soothsayers, all those occultic men could not interpret the dream. And Joseph just said, well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Your dream means this. This means the 7 seasons of plenty and 7 seasons of scarcity. In the 7 seasons of plenty, why not save 5% of your products and use the other one? So in the 7 years of scarcity, you can now cash in on the 7 years of plenty, the savings you have made. And then Joseph didn't stop there. He said, well, Pharaoh, you can get someone who has attended Harvard Business School to implement this economic plan. And the Bible says that it was pleasing in the eyes and in the ears of Pharaoh and all his officers. And they said, we can't get anybody better than you. What am I talking about? Value delivery. This guy delivered value. There is no man who delivers value that can be in prison. The Bible never told us that Joseph went back to prison. He became a prime minister. Why? He had value to deliver. Let me say this. It's not in the slide. There is no man who delivers value that can be looked down in the marketplace. If you deliver value in the marketplace, I guarantee your world will come looking for you. Let's dive in. Let's look at the introduction. The secret of genius is not complexity. It is simplicity. That's what Robin Sharma said. The man that wrote the 5 a.m. Club also wrote the Everyday Hero. He said that the secret of genius, people think that genius is that maybe they were cut off from a different clothes or it's genetic. No, genius is not genetic. It's in practice. It's in simplicity. Simple things. You see, El Nightingale said something that resonates with me, and I think you'll buy into this. He said, if a man will study a subject 1 hour every day, 5 days in a week, that's excluding weekends, he said in 5 years you become a master in that thing. If a man will study a subject, you study politics 1 hour every day, 5 days in a week, in 5 years you become a master. You study media 1 hour every day, 5 days in a week, in 5 years you become a guru. You study family, whatever it is, the 7 mountains of influence: family, religion, media, arts and entertainment, education, business, and what? Which one am I missing? Politics, right? So if you take any mountain, any of this mountain of influence, and you stay on it 1 hour every day, 5 days a week, in 5 years, of course that agrees with what a man called Anders Ericsson, the man that propounded the 10,000 hour practice. That for you to become a guru, you need to practice for 10,000 hours, 20 hours, and 50 weeks, you become a master. So the secret of genius is not what? Complexity. It's what? Simplicity. I can go on and on and explain this to you. Remember a young man they called David Beckham. Many of you know David Beckham. Those of you who are Man U fans. David Beckham is a Man U legend. While he was still in Old Trafford, still under the tutelage of a man called Alex Ferguson. Alex Ferguson has written 2 books on leadership that they use in Harvard Business School today. He was a coach. And then David Beckham once saw a man called Risto Stoichkov of Bulgaria, who bends the ball. He plays free kick. They said the only man that have chased his free kick was Peter Rufai of Nigeria in US 94. And then he saw this guy and returned and said, no, I want to be a free kick specialist. I want to be a free kick specialist. What did this guy do? He hired a personal coach. After other players have trained for hours, he will spend another 1 hour every day. He will hang a tire on a tree and be taking 100 shots into the tire. Some of you just watch football, you don't know all these stories. You just watch football, thunder fire you, must win Man you. That's all you know. You don't know the things we learn from it. And this guy began to do this for months, for years. After a while, David Beckham became a free kick specialist. While he was still in Man U, there's a place they call Beckham Sports in Old Trafford. Anytime free kick happens there, before he takes the shot, Man U fans will start rejoicing. Why? They know he will score. What is the reason? Whatever you do with all your might, you become mighty in it. Let me say that again. Whatever you do with all your might, you become mighty in it. So the secret of genius is not complexity, it's simplicity. You don't get paid for the hour, you get paid for the value you bring to the hour. You don't get paid for the hour, you get paid to the value you bring to the hour. You say, I came to work today. They ask you, so what did you bring to the table? You have been in the office. Some people come to the office, they are playing solitaire. They're in the office watching home video. They're in the office watching movies, watching all that they can watch. They have not brought any value. That's why I respect banking. You must pay for every hour. Even though people think that that's pure capitalism, but then you pay for every hour. So, you came to the office today. Can I ask you something? Can you say that you earn your salary? You actually earn what you are being paid. So so this man called Jim Rohn is saying that you are not paid for the hour. You are paid for the value you bring into the hour. Nobody pays you for coming to work. They pay you for the problem you are solving. So if you are solving no problem, they will still ask you to leave the office because there's no reason. So what then is value? Because we are talking about value delivering recipe, how industry titans deliver outstanding results. We just saw a young man called Joseph, how he delivered outstanding results, and the king said, we can't let you go. What then is value? When we talk about value, it is your point of difference. Value is your point of difference. What makes Erling Haaland different from Mikel Obi? That's the value. That if Mikel Obi is playing and Erling Haaland is playing, that difference, that you know anyhow that Erling Haaland will score, or there are no two matches he has played without scoring. That's what we're talking about. That's his point of difference. Value. What then is value? Value is anything that constitutes an advantage in your life. Anything that constitutes what? An advantage in your life. Maybe the way you talk. Some people are paid for talking. Maybe the way you laugh. Maybe the way you act. Some people are paid for acting. There are comedians that are earning in millions. What are they doing? Just making you to laugh. Whether they are funny or not, people are paying them for their value. That is what constitutes an advantage in their life. This pastor, one time we're looking at a John C. Maxwell certified coach. What is his worth in 1 hour? They say it's 455,000 naira. That's his worth in 1 hour. Why? That is what constitutes an advantage in his life. Whatever you have as an advantage, that is your value. That's your value. What then is value? Whatever capabilities and abilities that can bless humanity and glorify God, that's your value. That capability, that ability you have that can bless humanity and then glorify God, that's your value. That's your value. Joseph's value was he interpreted the dream of a king. That's his value. That's the ability he has. He can interpret a dream. That's the ability. A young man called Mark Zuckerberg said, well, I can connect people on Facebook. That's his value. Left Harvard, started that thing before going back to Harvard. So it wasn't Harvard that made him. That's his value. One time I was listening to the richest man in the world, Elon Musk. He said, I didn't go to Harvard, but all my staff are Harvard. So he's the one paying them. What does that mean? A man who knows how can get a job, but the man who knows why will employ him. A man who knows how may get a job, but the man who knows why will employ him. So, if you have a why in life, that becomes your ability, that becomes your capability. What then is value? Value is one act you have mastered that can bring you to notoriety. One act that you have mastered that can bring you to notoriety. Look at the young man called me and say, I'm using football. As you say, why is he using football? Well, I'm using what I watch. When you get it, use what you watch. I don't watch Telemundo. So, this young man called Lionel Messi when he was in Barcelona. He wanted to leave Barcelona, and the president of Barcelona said, I'd rather resign than you leaving. Why? This guy has mastered one art. One art that can bring him to notoriety. And by playing football, he has won all the trophies that can be won in football. The only one remaining was that time, as at 2022, was World Cup. That one is not decorating his gallery. Sitting down there sweating. And then, the day he signed for Paris Saint-Germain, they say only his jersey, they recovered the money they paid for him. Why? He has mastered one art called football that have brought him to notoriety. That's the only human being that has won Ballon d'Or 8 times. 8 times. 8 times. He has mastered one art. You are there listening to me. You are a pastor, you're a businessman, you're a politician, you're a media guru, whatever thing you do, whatever mountain of influence you occupy. There is one art that when you master, it will bring you to notoriety. The world may hate the process, but cannot deny the product. Brings you to limelight, and the world cannot ignore you. We had Champions League final. Who did they invite? One small boy from Nigeria. Davido to come and sing for 6 minutes, and they paid him $2 million, excluding hotel and flight money. He has mastered one art that brought him to notoriety. What then is value? Value is the perception and impression that you are not easily replaceable. So you have become indispensable. That's what value is. The impression and the perception that you are not easily replaceable. Listen to me. If you are easily replaceable, your value is too small in the marketplace. You can't wake up one morning and sack the chief medical director of any hospital. You can't sack him. But you can wake up one morning and sack the gate man. All of this will call security man. They are not security anything. They are gate men. One time, a man said he's a gate man in our estate, and police came looking for one family. And the gate man stood at that and said, his flat is the last flat. Without asking why police were looking for the man, he said he's a security man. He's not a security man. Security is intelligence. Security is information. So, I've given you how many definitions of what value is. Number 1, it is your point of difference. Number 2, anything that constitutes an advantage in your life. Number 3, whatever capabilities and abilities that can bless humanity and glorify God. Number 4, it is one art you have mastered that can bring you to notoriety. And number 5, it is the perception and impression that you are not easily replaceable. Now, let's bring us to the last point of this discourse. How do industry titans deliver outstanding results? How do they deliver outstanding results? We just showed you a young man who delivered outstanding result called, his name is Joseph. He interpreted one dream that brought him to limelight. He became the governor. He became the prime minister. And the king said, even though I am the king, but nobody will lift a finger without you. That means he was actually the king. So Pharaoh was a ceremonious king. Or is it ceremonial? They call it ceremonial king. So now, how do industry titans deliver value? Outstanding results. Number 1, they operate with what? The trinity of peak performance. They operate with the trinity of peak performance. You say, what is the trinity of peak performance? 1 is mental focus. 2 is physical energy. 3 is willpower. So I call it trinity of peak performance. Each time you hear Trinity, what comes to your mind? God the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. But I've just shown you 3 things that make people to deliver at that level. It's called the trinity of peak performance. Anyone you see delivering at the very top level, who is epic in his delivery, 1, he has mental focus. 2, he has physical energy. 3, he has willpower. It was Confucius that said, a man who chases 2 rabbits catches neither. Today, I want to do education. The next day, no, sorry, it's not media. The other day, it's not politics. You are a scattered graph. You can't go far doing something like that. to become a guru or a master in anything, practice for 20 hours in 50 weeks. 10,000 hours practice, rather, they say. So, like example of this Trinity Peak Performance is a company called Ferrari. Ferrari has a philosophy that every year they only produce 7,000 Ferraris. And those 7,000 Ferraris, they're already on demand. It's not that have you ever seen where they're advertising Ferrari or advertising all of that? There is always market for every Ferrari that has been produced. So as they're entering 2025, they're going to produce only 7,000 Ferrari. Even if you like, come and it's already 7,000, say no, I need this thing, they will not include you. Once it's 7,000, they stop producing. They are taking their orders for the year. Enzo Ferrari, the owner of Ferrari, said, I want to produce art, poetry on wheels. I don't just want to produce and keep in the car stand and people coming to price. No. For me to produce one Ferrari, there must be demand for it. So people keep demanding. Every year people will know that if you want to buy a Ferrari car in 2025, by now you should have booked. If you have not booked, once they have 7,000 orders, they stop taking orders. That year is closed. That's a thinking, mental focus, willpower, and physical energy. See, Coca-Cola has not produced, they have not started producing a hot drink or or producing alcoholic drinks, because you know why? The first year of operation of Coca-Cola, they sold only 25 bottles. That's one crate and one extra bottle. That was enough for them to go to Faith Clinic if they were to be Nigerians and say, no, our village police is fighting us. How can we sell only 25 bottles in the whole year, 365 days? But they stayed at it. They kept at it. And they kept doing their work. The last time I checked, Coca-Cola sells 1.8 billion bottles a day. By now, it must have exceeded that. 1.8 billion bottles. Why? The trinity of peak performance, mental focus, physical energy, and willpower. The second thing that will make industry titans to deliver outstanding results. The second thing is what I call, they stay in their lane and they run their race. They stay in their lane and they run their race. They stay in their lane and they run their race. If you don't define the leadership field you want to operate in, you will not be outstanding. You can't say today I'm playing football. The next day, no, it's basketball. The other day is table tennis. No. Michael Jordan didn't play any other sport except lawn tennis. Basketball, and he's a legend of basketball. A man called Pablo Picasso didn't do anything. He was a sculptor, and the guy was heavy in his work. They stay in their lane and they run their own race. Some years ago, this guy, after setting record and breaking records on track and field event, his name is Usain Bolt. In 2018, he decided to go and join a football club in Australia. You see, running in the pitch without ball and running with ball, they are not the same. So when he saw Lionel Messi running with ball in the football pitch, he said, after all, I'm the fastest man, so I can do this. So he joined a football club in Australia. It wasn't up to 6 months. He was frustrated. He left the club. Why? He left his lane and started running another person's race. Stay on your lane and run your race. That will make you to produce outstanding results. Stay on your lane. Run your race. That's how to produce outstanding results. That thing you say you are doing, stay there. One of the great recipes for an unhappy life is to spend the best hours of your best days comparing yourself to others. There's nothing that destroys a man like comparison. You can be comparing yourself with somebody's chapter 2, whereas your own is supposed to be chapter 5. Number 3, what will make industry titans to produce outstanding results? They belong to the 1% club of small daily improvement. They belong to the 1% club of small daily improvement. They belong to the 1% club of small daily improvement. Listen to me. Small daily improvement, when done consistently over time, bears staggering results. Small daily improvement, when done consistently over time. Listen to me. Don't try to grow 10% today, grow 10%, 20% tomorrow. The other day grow 10%, and then for the rest of the month you didn't add anything. Do you know if you grow only 1% every day, by the end of the year you have grown 365%? Some people say, well, I want to finish this book this week, and you finish the book, and the rest of the year you read another book. You don't grow like that way. It is not what you do once in a while that changes your life. It is what you do what you do every day. So every day now, every day, I study leadership for 1 hour because I want to be a global leader. Every day, minimum of 1 hour, every day. But on Mondays, I spend up to 8 hours sitting on my thinking chair, studying, reading. Why? Mondays are my solitude moment. Mondays I do what I call 3S: solitude, stillness, and silence. Every Monday. Solitude, stillness, and silence. I do that every Monday. That's why I plan my week. That's why I do content creation. That's why I invest into myself. That's what I do. Beside every month, I invest 3% of my income back to myself. That's what I do. So 1 hour every day, I'm studying leadership. If I do it for 5 years, 5 days in a week, in 5 years I'll be a guru. I will listen to John Maxwell. He said, I practice leadership for more than 12,000 hours. So I'm a leadership guru. And guess what? He doesn't grow in so many areas. He grows only in 5 areas. And he uses the acronym CLEAR. He grows in C, communication; L, leadership; E, equipping; A, attitude; R, relationship. And his books are on these 5 areas. So, belong to the 1% club of every day. All I want to do is to add 1% to my life. Tomorrow, 1%. Then somebody say, no, another person is adding 10%. If he add 10% today, and tomorrow adds 20%, and the rest of the week he didn't add, you are better than him. One day, my pastor said something. He said, a man who fasts once every week will be more anointed than a man who fasts 40 days in a whole year and didn't fast again. Because every week you are topping something spiritually. So they belong to the 1% club of small daily improvement. Number 3, they multiply their impact by employing time mastery tactics. They multiply their impact by employing what we call time mastery tactics. We call it strategic time blocking. You tell yourself, this is what I do so day. I was listening, they were telling me about a great man, he's an African, that every Monday he doesn't talk to anybody till 12 noon. He reads, he prays, he studies, and prepares himself. He doesn't talk to anybody. That is when he is multiplying his impact. This is what we call time blocking, time mastery tactics. See, if you want to be a world class, don't be so available to everyone. You must hide to hash. Hide and hash. But get great. You must be great at saying no with a smile, so that you can say yes to other projects. If you say yes to every project, I guarantee you mediocrity will be your neighbor. Great men know how to say no with a smile. I say, so no, I'm sorry, that time has already been taken. I do so things so day. That time you are talking about is blocked for something. It's called strategic time blocking, or mastery tactics. If you don't plan your day, those who have a plan will include you in their plan. Guess what they have for you? Very small. So it's important. Number 4, they get ultra fit. People who produce outstanding results, they get ultra fit. The more great health you have, the better your brain will perform to bring on the fire of your finest talents. Listen to me. If your health deteriorates, forget about epic performance. If your health deteriorates, forget about outstanding results. If your health deteriorates, forget about performing at the highest level. So, people who produce outstanding results, they are ultra fit. They know when to exercise. They know the diet. They know when to go to bed. They know the things they're feeding themselves. They know who to hang out, because if your social hangout portfolio is toxic, you are gone. So I'm almost done. Number 5, they take time off regular schedules. See, great men take time off regular schedule. Disrupted and history-making insights rarely show up when you are at the office. So travel, have fun, and rest. You see, one time my pastor was doing a teaching and talked about 3 atmospheres every human being should be in. He said, number 1, it is the atmosphere of inspiration. Number 2, the atmosphere of competition. Number 3, the atmosphere of desperation. And can I tell you something? My own atmosphere of inspiration is a bookshop, a hotel, or a shopping mall. That's where I see ideas. Find out your own. For a man called Albert Einstein, Thomas Edison, his own was called, a place is called, they call it Menlo Park. They said Thomas Edison will go there with his staff. They'll spend 10 days thinking, iterating, brainstorming over an idea until the thing crystallizes to a product. So that place is called Menlo Park. So find your own Menlo Park. My own Menlo Park is a hotel, a bookshop, or a shopping mall. That's where I draw my own inspiration. That's my atmosphere. That's my atmosphere. So take time off your regular schedule and think of some things so that I can produce some. And listen to me, the greatest education is called traveling. Traveling is the greatest form of education. When you travel, you see different people. There's this song in this accord, there's a land of travel and see. Number 6, they make learning a priority. I'm telling you what will make you to produce, or what is making industry titans, epic performers, history makers to produce outstanding results. That's what I'm giving to you. Number 6, they make learning a priority. They make learning a priority. The key to achieving success is to keep growing and improving. Read and think every day. 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 It was Alvin Toffler that said something that I love so much. He said, the illiterate of the 21st century will not be those who cannot read or write. But the illiterate of the 21st century will be those who cannot learn, unlearn, and relearn. That's the illiterate of the 21st century. You learn when you get new things. You unlearn when you discard things you were taught but they are not working. You relearn when you strengthen what is working. Learning involves new information. Unlearning involves dropping things that are not working. Then relearning, strengthening things that are working. Number what? Number 7, they build quality and life-changing relationships. They build quality and life-changing relationships. They have life coaches, they have mentors, they have competitors, and they have investors. You see, nothing great can be done alone. You will never see any leader of repute who has no mentor. It's called the role model principle. All the Holy Ghost put in my heart this year, everything I'm doing this year is called role model principle. If I want to learn how to talk, I'll look for someone who talks very well and sit down, have a lunch with him, or gather his materials and read. If I want to learn how to pray, who is the one role modeling it for me? I look for the person who is a prayer guru. Anything I want to learn, I look for the man modeling it. I look for the woman modeling it. I look for the company modeling it. And I build relationship. That's all I'm doing this year. And in December, my pastor was saying, everybody should look for scripture to tie his destiny or his dream. So every year I've been doing that. When he said that, I said, wow. So my dream, everything I'm doing today is tied to 2 Chronicles chapter 26 verse 5. Uzzah followed a man who had understanding of the visions of God. The Bible says, as long as he sought the Lord made him to prosper. So I'm looking for all the people who are successful in the things I want to learn this year. And I build relationship with them and learn from them. That's all I'm doing. Role model principle. It works. It works. It works. It works. It was Albert Einstein that said, he said, I have seen farther because I have learned to climb on the shoulders of giants. What I simply said, there are people who have gone ahead of me in this. Whatever thing you're doing, somebody is really doing it. The bakery you went to buy bread from, somebody owns that bakery. Some people's, that your annual income, somebody's monthly income. So why not look for a role model in that area and ask the person to mentor you? So they build quality and life-changing relationship. Number what? Number 8. Is that number 8? Okay, that's all. So let me end with this. 6 mindset of industry titans. Number 1, they believe they are best in the world. Michael Jordan played basketball. That's the only thing he played. Number 2, their obsessive attention to details. You never see an industry titan who doesn't give attention to detail. First, I said they have a mindset that they're best in the world. Secondly, they have obsessive attention to detail. If you look at a man called Leonardo da Vinci, the greatest painter of all time. Number 3, totality in craft mastery. They master their craft. Pat Riley, one of the greatest NBA coaches. So anyone I mentioned to you an icon. I said best in the world, Michael Jordan, basketball legend. Obsessive attention to detail, Leonardo da Vinci, greatest painter of all time. Third one, totality in craft mastery, Pat Riley, one of the greatest NBA coaches. Number 4, they are always daring. Winston Churchill led UK to victory in the Second World War. Number 5, exemplary leadership. Peter Drucker, one of the last century most prominent business thinker and strategists. Number 5, always delivering outrageous value. Elon Musk, engineer and philanthropist who is working to revolutionize transportation both on Earth through electronic car maker Tesla in space via rocket producer. He is the owner of SpaceX. He is the owner of Tesla. He is the owner of Twitter. Now he has changed it to X, right? So what do you do? Number 1, start by wanting to deliver outstanding results. Number 2, always ask questions. Number 3, apprentice under someone greater. Number 4, closing statement. Thank you. Well, that brings me to the end of this. This one has taken 2 minutes longer. We're looking at value delivery recipe. How industry titans deliver outstanding results. We read Genesis chapter 41, 37 to 44. And then we looked at the opening statement. The secret of genius is not complexity, it is simplicity. You say you don't get paid for the hour, you get paid for the value you bring to the hour. And we say, what is value? Number 1, it is your point of difference. Number 2, anything that constitutes an advantage in your life. Number 3, whatever capabilities and abilities that can bless humanity and glorify God. Number 4, it is one act you have mastered that can bring you to notoriety. And number 5, it is the perception and impression that you are not easily replaceable. And we say, how do industry titans deliver outstanding results? Number 1, they operate with the trinity of peak performance. Number 2, they stay in their lane and run their race. Number 3, they belong to the 1% club of small daily improvement. Number 4, they multiply their impact by employing time mastery tactics. Number 5, they get ultra fit. Number 6, they take time off regular schedules. Number 7, they make learning a priority. Number 8, they build quality and life-changing relationships. And so what is their mindset? Number 1, they believe they are the best in the world. Number 2, they give obsessive attention to details. Number 3, they carry what we call totality in craft mastery. Number 4, they are always daring. Number 5, they exude exemplary leadership. Number 6, they are always delivering outrageous value. And so what do you do? 1, start by wanting to deliver outstanding results. As you go out today, tell us I want to deliver outstanding results. Number 2, always ask questions. Number 3, apprentice under someone greater than you. In closing, the goal is not to be successful. The goal is to be valuable. Once you are valuable, instead of chasing success, it will attract itself to you. And Mark chapter 1 verse 36 to 37. And Simon and they that were with him followed after him. And when they have found him, they said unto him, all men seek for thee. There's something you carry, only the poor will look for you. There's something you carry, only the middle class will look for you. There's something you carry, only the rich will look for you. But there's something you carry, all men will be looking for you. And it's called value. Find out that value you are meant to deliver in the marketplace. Till I come your way again, don't forget, this is Leader Upgrade, powered by Gateway International Church here on Life Center Network, the gateway to possibilities. Every Tuesday on Life Center Network, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and the case might be, we're talking to leaders. Don't forget, If you take in oxygen, you are a leader, not position. And till I come your way again, tune in next week, Tuesday, for leader upgrade. And don't forget, by 11 p.m., my pastor, Pastor Johnson, will be taking on the altar of mercy. We will pray. And mind-boggling, mind-blowing, heart-wrenching, ear-tingling testimonies have been coming from that altar of mercy where he prays. Send your testimony, send your voice note, and share with God's people what God has been doing for you. My name is Emeka Kalu. I'm the director for church planting, coordinating satellite churches here in Gateway International Church, and also pastor our satellite church at Trans-Amadi, the Spirit Arena. If you have any opportunity to come that way, just come. That is where the Spirit talks. I will give you coffee if you come on Sunday morning. God bless you. See you.